Hey everyone, Mark Manchester with Wayward Studios. Thought I'd throw out a couple quick videos. If you are watching this in October of 2025, we are in the midst of our Kickstarter for Horror Cinema Classics, HCC. Real quick rundown, it is a game that we developed. It uses the Dungeon Crawl Classics chassis. Most of the mechanics are going to be very familiar to you if you've played Dungeon Crawl Classics or XCC or MCC, any of those Goodman Games products. But we've added a few mechanics of our own. And again, this is Horror Cinema Classics. This is going to be our send up to VHS era horror movies that we all grew up on, and those of us at Wayward Studios at least. And so, yeah, this is going to be kind of just a raw cut video. I just want to go over some mechanics. And you might ask, why am I going over the mechanics now? Well, if you're following our Backer Kit campaign, you'll know that if you backed us, you will be receiving a PDF copy of the Quick Start rules as soon as the campaign ends on October 23rd. Our goal is we want you guys to play the game. It's going to come with an adventure. Do you know where your children are? And we're hoping that we'll get you guys to play on right around Halloween. We got some further incentives going on. If you play our game, take a picture, tag us on social media, we're going to send you a holiday adventure in December. So, yeah, like I said, these are just going to be some real quick videos. I'm going to go over the mechanics that we've added to the DCC core mechanics to make it more of a horror type based game. And the first one we're going to talk about in this video is called the Trope token. The Trope token is it's a device that we use. So when you play any role playing game, usually your goal is to survive, right? You're strategizing. Your goal is that your characters survive, and that you be as smart in your decisions as you can. And that is fairly counterintuitive to most of the horror movies that you'll watch. If you ever watch any horror movies, there's always the couple that goes off into the cornfield to have some alone time, or the co-ed that goes upstairs to take a shower in the dark without turning any lights on, or someone who's going to go and investigate the dark basement by themselves. These are all horror tropes. And what we do with the Trope token is anytime you're playing the game and your character leans into that horror trope, and you do something that is actually, maybe not in the best interest of your character's safety, the director is going to make a determination that, yep, you've met the criteria to activate the Trope token. They're gonna take a token that, and you can use whatever token you want. Here's an example of one that I had made for our play tests. It's got Trope token on one side, and then on the other side, it's just got our HCC logo. If you've played in our games, you've probably seen this. Just sits on the table, and as soon as you do something cool and 80s and horror-ish, I'm going to flip that Trope token, and then it's going to be active. And while that Trope token is active, anyone at the table can use it to re-roll a die roll. And it doesn't have to be the person that activated the Trope token. It can be anyone at the table. So you roll, you make, maybe it's a saving throw or whatever, and you fail, and the Trope token is active. You can flip the Trope token, and then you get to re-roll. There's every director and every table is going to determine, how much they want to use the Trope token. Some directors may want to use it only if you're following horror tropes. I had a table that they were very much into like the 80s type of vibe movies. So they were coming up with very 80s one-liners and stuff like that. And I thought that, it worked well for that table. So I was allowing the Trope token to be activated when they were doing something very 80s and maybe not necessarily very horror. And the trope token, again, is it's going to be something that you use at your table, however it is that you want to use it. There are, in our core rulebook, we'll come up with some alternatives as far as, optional rules for how do you want to use your trope token. But the standard rules is that it'll allow a reroll. The big caveat to that is that you can never use it to change a fumble or a natural one. Natural ones are going to always be natural ones. They're always going to be failures, critical failures, and trope token can't save you from that. So again, I hope this was helpful for you. If you haven't backed us yet on BackerKit, the link will be below. If you have, please feel free to share that link out. We are crushing our stretch goals, but we have some really cool stretch goals coming up with some guest writers doing adventures for us, and we'd really like to get all of them on board. So again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you at the tables.